all these things that you're talking about, these are all the fruit of a deeper issue, the issue being no-fault divorce. Is that correct?
I think so, yes.
So no-fault divorce, I've read that there was some no-fault divorce in Oklahoma in the 1950s, but really it took off with President Ronald Reagan in California. He signed no-fault divorce into being. He was lied to. He was questioned about it. The first thing was that the idea of no-fault divorce was actually to try to keep families together. So, I mean, what you have in Virginia, at least that 1 year waiting period, there is a correlation between a longer waiting period and fewer divorces. Not necessarily cause and effect, but the longer waiting period tends to reduce divorces. But when Reagan signed this into being, there was supposed to be a family conciliation court, so that there was supposed to be active counseling to help the two people reconcile. And in many instances, it's only one person, like in the case that you're talking about here. My question is this: do you think that the state of Virginia, to some degree, even though they have a longer waiting period, do you think that they failed, not just you and your wife, but the children, by not having something in place to try to actively seek reconciliation and keeping the family unit together?
My belief is that marriage is it's a covenant created by God. I don't feel that the state should be involved in marriage whatsoever. I don't. Like I said, I don't feel the state should be involved whatsoever. I truly believe that the pastors are the ones that didn't
Stand up
and point Clarissa and show her in the Bible that you're doing wrong. I can't expect the state to know because the state is secular, so I can't expect them to know what is to make the right and wrong call. I don't feel the state has the best interest of the marriage or the children. I think, like I said, they're running our racket.
Right. And yet, and I hear what you're saying. I agree with you 100%. I think that the church that used to be called the scandal of the evangelical conscience divorce, because in the evangelical church, in many instances, divorce rates approach, and in some instances actually exceed, the divorce rate in general in our society. And when this first came into being, the no-fault divorce issue, many pastors should have been protesting, should have said this is absolutely wrong. Some did, but not many, not the majority. And as you take 50 years later, after Ronald Reagan signed it into being, 50 years later, now it's almost like the church, what you've said, we can't do anything about it. So, I mean, if you had a message to the pastors, what would that message be?
My message is to pastors who don't stand on the Word of God, especially when it comes to the family, is if you're not willing to stand on the Word of God, to step down from the pulpit, let someone else do it that's actually willing to stand on the Word of God. That's my message to pastors. You're doing a disservice to the flock, to the church that you're supposed to be overseeing.
Right.
You're doing a disservice. You're actually hurting people instead of helping them.
And I'm with you 100%. I think that the church has been very neglectful and has caused a lot of damage because of not standing with this. But you also have another group of people. These are the Christian legislators. Legislators, Democrat, Republican, representatives, senators, various positions within the government that want to take their Christian values with them. But in many instances, they don't even seem to talk about the issue of marriage. Do you find that to be true? Have you thought much about it?
Christian legislators?
Yeah. So, for example, we have some Christian legislators here in Texas that I've spoken with, and there's one person who's sponsoring a bill again this year to try to get rid of the no-fault divorce. At least make it by mutual consent. If two people get married by mutual consent, why should one person be able to leave the marriage and force the other person out and take the house and take the money and take the kids and kick the father or the mother out of the parent's life and ruin the relationship with the children and the grandparent on the other side? So that there are some Christian legislators that realize that this is a very important issue, but I think that many people have really, even Christian legislators, do not realize the enormity of this issue. What are your thoughts?
Well, I think it's, first of all, if we have Christian legislators, that's always a good thing. If they're going to stand on Christian principles and values and try to implement that in the states that they're working in, I think that's a good thing. However, if like you say, if they're going to do their job, then do it, go the whole way. Don't do it make it a half-done job.
Okay.